Okay, so before we go any further on this theory part, we have a very unfortunate incident that happened a few months ago in the city of Gurgaon in Delhi NCR. A lady from Manipur was beaten up by some of the people, and we want to discuss on this case. We will be hearing the case from the lady herself on what happened on that day and how she responded and what are the subsequent events. So, Ichan, can you please tell us like what happened on that day and what was the incident all about?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to keep up my words that do numito ay si sumtaw bani ay si injang nabi kay ka and aduga ay si room shift taw ba si kuidrige mamangi wari ne asis dai gi po chi su khara le hawe na ay si lockdown hawrak patan ja si da thokte aduga kitang matam se thengda pa matam si dai tho e si da moina ngonda permission pi ayuki numita tang taragi thodok ni ko hai jam pung tara da gina pung hoi pung tara da gina tarup phause thok pe yai na moina permission piraga ne permission laura matung da ne ai na thok ja baje aduga tho kanchi da kamai tau ge da aina halakpa tanja si da moina direct ai honda ngai raga leiramme moi gi meeting se hai tare ko ai gi moi gi attitude hai ba gi maram sida hayo hairaga di akhoi si India macha budi oi but hoji phau gi oina moi gi response akhoi da India macha magni hai ba gi loksan ba gi wakhallon je leitri akhoi gi lifestyle da moina problem lei ba kai gi no da akhoi di amuk kamai hani independence oina lei hai tare ko akhoi gi northeast people cha ba khot pa da su ai moi gi yetna ba se adum akhoi da oi hai tare aduduna moina akhoi je yamna phajana adumaina khanbi ba ngamde akhoi je India gi macha amani adagi we are all brother and sister hai ba se moi gi wakhanda hojipu 100% sure oi begi lotion ba se lechina ai kai gi no da moi gi responsible hai tar moi gi responsible akhoi gi damakta lobi ba se moi yam lapna lei aduga akhoi se mitok ni na yam khanbi ye adugi mathakdasu moisina akhoida yengbiba mikeng hairagati yamna tukachana hai tare it will be like 75% right ni haiba ai thazai kaigino da moini yengi sa khoi Chinese mazani and after hojiki situation gi matang ina coronavirus matam ni na hojiki corona ta hanba horok China dagi horok panina khwai dagi moi gi wakhal lon je khoi je horok pa je China da horok panina moi da ju effect se yam le akhoi na maram oraga moi da hena sokchali haiba gi wakhal lon je moi na pamaga le na ai thamningi aduga moi gi attitude ji su ya
nasagi numituki incident to adusu saurana haibiro aduga nasagi misinsi namanda attack tawriba misinsi noigi landlord na natraga noi building punna laibra noigi community to laiba mira habiru ko haibiro
hoi ai accident thokiba se sumna thokibani aina halakpa matam sida moigi lambi se hoi hojik se khoi gi fajirpur je CLD oigibani aduna moina matam pi thokpagi asi sida khoina permission lorga thokpadi oye adu thopa matam sida halakpa sida moina ai je direct ngaraga leirame moi je hana dagi pau se phangne haibagi thajaba su thame kai gino da moina hana ngairambani na igi lambi se moina hana thatlame chai am pairaga aduga direct mana aingonda word se phataba word se hana use tore haidi chinki ba oidaba haibase aduga karigi damakta igi lambi sida lakpano haibati hoi moina yam gali oina pirak ba hai tare ko word se haidi moigi hakama haini mother child highway asigumba gi phattaba hai tare word se moina sijinaraga aingonda ngang ba haurai nang amala agadi akoi nang amala agadi akoi gi lambi sida nang amala agadi moisu corona narani haibagi directly adumaina wahai se haire kaigino da ai je corona nabagi type ta moina nganga eba asi sida aina moi de su utle ai di sanitizer su pae adu ai mask upi aduna noida kibagi kemta leite ai ju yamna safe oina lakjabani khotpani na haiba sida moina aingonda nangna dumaina akhoi da chin khumba yabra na direct moi gi chei sina toraga aingonda kan ba hora eba adai kan ba sida aina ngak thok na ba khut se tum ai ngak thok chei ngak thok pa sida moina mukhali jina ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯇꯧꯔꯦ ꯈꯣꯠꯂꯦ ꯇꯥꯕꯤꯕ꯭ꯔꯥ
Tai.
ꯍꯣꯏ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯉꯥꯛꯊꯣꯛꯄꯁꯤꯗ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯑꯃꯨꯛ ꯈꯜꯂꯤꯁꯤꯅ ꯑꯩꯁꯤꯅ ꯈꯨꯠ ꯍꯜꯂꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯒꯤ ꯃꯑꯣꯡꯁꯤꯗ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯑꯃꯨꯛ ꯂꯧꯔꯒ ꯎꯁꯤꯠꯇꯦ ꯅꯣꯔꯠ ꯏꯁ ꯃꯆꯥ ꯑꯃꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯍꯦꯛꯇ ꯇꯧ ꯌꯥꯕ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗꯤ ꯂꯝꯒꯤ ꯃꯄꯨꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯒꯤ ꯋꯥꯈꯜꯂꯣꯟ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯃꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯂꯣꯀꯦꯜ ꯄꯤꯄꯜ ꯑꯣꯏꯕꯅꯤꯅ ꯑꯗꯨꯗꯩꯗꯤ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯃꯧ ꯅꯨꯄꯤꯅꯦ ꯃꯆꯥꯅꯦ ꯑꯗꯒꯤ ꯑꯦꯟ ꯏꯚꯟ ꯑꯥꯏ ꯑꯦꯝ ꯅꯣꯠ ꯁꯤꯌꯣꯔ ꯃꯣꯏ 3% ꯈꯛꯇ ꯑꯣꯏ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯤ ꯑꯩ ꯊꯥꯖꯗꯦ ꯀꯩꯒꯤꯅꯣꯗ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯁꯨꯝ ꯒ꯭ꯌꯥꯟ ꯇꯥꯖꯗ꯭ꯔꯒꯁꯨ ꯑꯩꯉꯣꯟꯗ ꯐꯥꯎꯈꯤꯕꯗꯨꯗꯤ ꯑꯩ ꯃꯤ ꯌꯥꯝꯃꯦꯅ ꯈꯜꯂꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯃꯤꯠꯃꯛꯅ ꯎꯍꯧꯕꯗꯤ ꯃꯤ 3 ꯈꯛꯇꯪ ꯎꯍꯧꯕꯅꯤꯅ ꯑꯗꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯇꯧꯔꯒ ꯑꯩꯉꯣꯟꯗ ꯑꯦꯇꯦꯛ ꯇꯧꯔꯛꯄꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯌꯦ ꯃꯣꯏꯗ ꯑꯩ ꯄꯨꯂꯤꯁꯇ ꯏꯟꯐꯣꯔꯝ ꯇꯧꯒꯅꯤ ꯄꯨꯂꯤꯁꯇ ꯑꯩ ꯃꯇꯦꯡ ꯂꯧꯒꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯁꯤꯗ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯑꯩꯉꯣꯟꯗ ꯔꯦꯁꯄꯣꯟꯁ ꯄꯨꯂꯤꯁꯇꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯤꯅꯦꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯛꯑꯦꯕ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ
Sai matek tu kidang hanjana police response tawgani haba matamda moina kari harap.
ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯛꯄꯁꯦ ꯅꯪꯅ ꯇꯧꯅꯤꯡꯕ ꯇꯧ ꯅꯪ ꯀꯦꯁ ꯇꯧꯅꯤꯡꯒꯦꯔꯥ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒ ꯅꯪ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯄꯨꯂꯤꯁꯇ ꯏꯟꯐꯣꯔꯝ ꯇꯧꯒꯦꯔꯥ ꯇꯧ ꯀꯧꯒꯦꯔꯥꯁꯨ ꯀꯧꯎ ꯑꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯄꯨꯂꯤꯁꯇꯤ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯤ ꯉꯥꯛꯇꯅꯦꯅ ꯑꯗꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯔꯦꯁꯄꯣꯟ ꯄꯤꯔꯛꯑꯦꯕ
Oh, okay.
ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯃꯊꯛꯇ ꯑꯗꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯇꯧꯗꯅ ꯑꯩꯁꯦ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯐꯨꯈꯤꯕꯗꯩꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯁꯦ ꯒ꯭ꯌꯥꯟ ꯇꯥꯗ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯒ꯭ꯌꯥꯟ ꯇꯥꯗ꯭ꯔꯒ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯏꯃꯥꯟꯅꯕꯤ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯤꯌꯥꯡꯀꯥꯅ ꯅꯨꯄꯤ ꯑꯃ ꯂꯩ ꯃꯉꯣꯟꯗ ꯑꯩ ꯆꯠꯄ ꯃꯇꯝꯁꯤꯗ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯍꯦꯜꯞ ꯇꯧꯕꯤ ꯄꯨꯂꯤꯁ ꯀꯧꯔꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯄꯨꯂꯤꯁꯅ ꯂꯥꯛꯑꯦ ꯄꯨꯂꯤꯁꯁꯦ ꯍꯦꯜꯞ ꯇꯧꯕꯤꯕ ꯂꯥꯛꯑꯦ ꯕꯠ ꯄꯨꯂꯤꯁꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯃꯤꯆꯪ ꯆꯪꯕꯒꯤ ꯀꯩꯝꯇ ꯎꯠꯇꯦ ꯀꯩꯒꯤꯅꯣꯗ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯁꯥꯏꯠꯇ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯂꯧꯋꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤꯗꯃꯛꯇ ꯍꯦꯜꯞ ꯑꯝꯇ ꯇꯧꯕꯤꯗꯦ ꯏꯟ ꯑꯦꯚ꯭ꯔꯤ ꯋꯥꯔꯗꯁ ꯃꯣꯏ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯁꯥꯏꯠꯇꯒꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯉꯥꯡꯉꯛꯑꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯃꯣꯏꯗꯤ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯐꯕꯅꯤ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯂꯥꯟꯖꯕ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯝꯃꯁꯨ ꯅꯣꯏ ꯀꯝꯄ꯭ꯔꯣꯃꯥꯏꯁ ꯇꯧꯔꯣ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯅꯣꯏꯁꯨ ꯀꯌꯥꯝ ꯈꯜꯂꯨꯔꯅꯨ ꯃꯣꯏꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯈꯪꯅꯕ ꯃꯤꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯃꯣꯏꯗꯤ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯐꯕ ꯃꯤꯅꯤ ꯑꯁꯤ ꯇꯧꯕꯅꯦꯅ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯁꯥꯏꯠꯇ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯀꯟꯈꯠꯂꯒ ꯄꯨꯂꯤꯁꯅ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯉꯥꯡꯉꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗꯁꯨ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯅꯨꯡꯉꯥꯏꯇꯕ ꯐꯥꯎꯋꯤ ꯀꯩꯒꯤꯅꯣꯗ ꯑꯗꯨꯗꯨꯅ ꯍꯦꯟꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯐꯥꯎꯍꯟꯕꯁꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯌꯥꯒꯤ ꯃꯤꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯅ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯦꯞ ꯇꯧꯗꯕꯒꯤ ꯈꯨꯗꯝꯁꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯐꯥꯎꯍꯜꯂꯦꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯌꯥ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯁꯨ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯔꯥꯏꯠꯁꯦ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯅꯤꯡꯇꯝꯅ ꯐꯪꯕ ꯉꯝꯗꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯦꯇꯤꯇ꯭ꯌꯨꯠ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯁꯤꯃ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯎꯁꯤꯠꯇꯅ ꯌꯦꯡꯕ ꯃꯤꯠꯌꯦꯡ ꯑꯃ ꯂꯩ ꯀꯩꯒꯤꯅꯣ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯂꯝꯁꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯀꯟꯕꯒꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯂꯩꯁꯜꯂꯨꯕꯒꯤ ꯃꯑꯣꯡꯒꯨꯝꯕꯗ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯉꯥꯡꯉꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯄꯥꯔꯠ ꯑꯣꯐ ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯌꯥ ꯅꯠꯇꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯂꯝ ꯑꯇꯣꯞꯄꯗꯒꯤ ꯂꯥꯛꯑꯒ ꯃꯣꯏꯗ ꯌꯦꯠꯄꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯒꯤ ꯋꯥꯈꯜꯂꯣꯟꯁꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯂꯩ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯩꯒꯤ ꯃꯣꯟꯗꯗꯤ ꯁꯤ ꯂꯩ ꯍꯥꯏꯅ ꯑꯩ ꯈꯪꯉꯦ
Aduga adugi matungda huzik dang case ti dang file di tawkhrebako.
Hoi.
Case amani dang file tawkhrab natro.
Hoi FIR tawi numittuda nongalaga FIR tawre ꯇꯧꯔ ꯃꯇꯨꯡꯁꯤꯗ ꯄꯨꯂꯤꯁꯅ ꯏꯟꯚꯦꯁꯃꯦꯟꯒꯤ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯍꯧꯋꯤ ꯃꯣꯏ ꯇꯧꯕꯤ ꯍꯦꯜꯞ ꯇꯧꯕꯤ ꯈꯔ ꯑꯆꯧ ꯑꯁꯥꯡꯗꯒꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯈꯪꯅꯕ ꯈꯣꯠꯅꯕ ꯂꯩꯕ ꯃꯣꯏꯅꯁꯨ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯍꯦꯜꯞ ꯇꯧꯕꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛ ꯐꯥꯎꯒꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯑꯩꯒꯤ ꯀꯦꯁꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯃꯇꯥꯡꯗ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯤꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯀꯩꯝꯇ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯤꯌꯔ ꯑꯣꯏꯗ꯭ꯔꯤ ꯑꯩꯅꯁꯨ ꯑꯩ ꯏꯁꯥꯃꯛꯅꯁꯨ ꯑꯩꯒꯤ ꯀꯦꯁꯁꯤ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯄꯥꯎ ꯌꯧꯔꯒꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯒꯤ ꯑꯩꯉꯣꯟꯗ ꯏꯟꯐꯣꯔꯃꯦꯁꯟ ꯀꯩꯝꯇ ꯂꯥꯛꯇꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯃꯊꯛꯇꯁꯨ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯍꯪꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯗꯁꯨ ꯑꯩꯕꯨ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯤꯌꯔ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯤꯕ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛꯄꯨ ꯂꯩꯇ꯭ꯔꯤ and after ꯑꯗꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯑꯩꯒꯤ ꯀꯦꯁꯀꯤ ꯃꯇꯥꯡꯗ ꯍꯦꯜꯞ ꯇꯧꯕꯤꯈꯤꯕ ꯁ꯭ꯇꯦꯟ ꯇꯧꯕꯤꯕꯒꯤꯕ ꯃꯣꯏꯗꯁꯨ ꯏꯟꯐꯣꯔꯃꯦꯁꯟ ꯆꯞ ꯆꯥꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯦ ꯂꯩꯇ꯭ꯔꯤ ꯀꯩꯒꯤꯅꯣꯗ ꯄꯨꯂꯤꯁꯀꯤ ꯔꯣꯝꯗꯒꯤꯁꯨ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯀꯣꯔꯠ ꯔꯣꯝꯗꯒꯤꯁꯨ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯀꯩꯝꯇ ꯏꯟꯐꯣꯔꯃꯦꯁꯟ ꯂꯥꯛꯇ꯭ꯔꯤꯕꯅꯤꯅ ꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯀꯦꯁ ꯃꯇꯥꯡꯁꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯇꯧꯔꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯈꯛꯇꯪ ꯅꯠꯇꯅ ꯁꯤ ꯀꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯆꯠꯊꯔꯤꯒꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯒꯤ ꯃꯈꯥ ꯇꯥꯕ ꯄꯥꯎꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯈꯪꯗ꯭ꯔꯤꯌꯦ
Operation khadi watle yamna thina watle police ki side ise.
ꯍꯣꯏ ꯄꯨꯂꯤꯁꯀꯤ ꯁꯥꯏꯠꯇꯒꯤꯁꯨ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯋꯥꯠꯂꯦ ꯃꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯍꯦꯜꯞ ꯇꯧꯕꯤꯕꯅꯨ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ ꯇꯧꯕꯤꯗꯕ ꯌꯥꯗꯕꯒꯤ ꯃꯇꯥꯡꯗ ꯇꯧꯕꯒ ꯆꯞ ꯃꯥꯟꯅꯅ ꯎꯠꯂꯦ ꯃꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯃꯊꯧꯃꯛꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯤꯃꯛꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯟ ꯂꯧꯕꯒꯤ ꯈꯨꯗꯝꯗꯤ ꯑꯩ ꯎꯗ꯭ꯔꯤ ꯉꯁꯤꯕꯨꯛꯇ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯃꯤꯗꯣ ꯑꯦꯔꯦꯁ ꯇꯧꯔꯦꯅꯁꯨ ꯍꯥꯏ ꯑꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯁꯨꯝ ꯄꯥꯎ ꯂꯧꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯃꯤꯗꯣ ꯑꯦꯛꯖꯦꯛ ꯃꯤꯗꯣ ꯑꯦꯔꯦꯁ ꯇꯧꯈꯤꯗꯦꯅ ꯑꯩ ꯄꯥꯎ ꯈꯪꯉꯦ ꯑꯁꯤꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯅꯨꯡꯉꯥꯏꯇꯕꯗꯤ ꯁꯤꯗ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯅꯨꯡꯉꯥꯏꯈꯤꯗꯦ ꯀꯩꯒꯤꯅꯣꯗ ꯇꯧꯈꯤꯕ ꯃꯤ ꯑꯦꯇꯦꯛ ꯇꯧꯔꯛꯄ ꯃꯤꯗꯣ ꯐꯥꯗꯗꯅ ꯀꯅꯥꯗ ꯐꯥꯔꯤꯕꯅꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯄꯨꯂꯤꯁꯈꯩꯅ ꯐꯥꯏ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯒꯤ ꯏꯟꯐꯣꯔꯃꯦꯁꯟ ꯄꯤꯔꯛꯄꯁꯤꯅ ꯀꯝꯗꯧꯅ ꯀꯅꯥꯗ ꯐꯥꯔꯒ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯄꯤꯔꯛꯑꯒ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯃꯤꯅꯝꯃꯤꯕꯅꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯨ ꯑꯩ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯈꯪꯅꯤꯡꯉꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯁꯤꯕꯨꯛꯇ ꯑꯩ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛꯄꯨ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯤꯌꯔ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯈꯪꯕ ꯉꯝꯗ꯭ꯔꯤ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯃꯇꯦꯡ ꯄꯥꯡꯉꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯃꯄꯥꯟ ꯊꯣꯛꯅ ꯄꯥꯡꯉꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯏ ꯀꯩꯒꯤꯅꯣꯗ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯇꯁꯦꯡꯅ ꯄꯥꯡꯕꯒꯤ ꯈꯨꯗꯝ ꯑꯩ ꯎꯗ꯭ꯔꯤ
Okay, Ichan, hello.
ꯍꯣꯏ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯃꯤꯟꯆꯠ ꯂꯧꯅꯤꯡꯕꯒꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯄꯨꯂꯤꯁꯁꯤꯡꯅꯁꯨ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯀꯦꯁ ꯑꯃ ꯄꯥꯏꯔꯨꯏ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯒꯤ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯅꯣꯇꯤꯁꯀꯤ ꯀꯦꯁ ꯑꯃ ꯂꯥꯛꯇꯅ ꯃꯤꯟꯆꯠ ꯂꯧꯕꯒꯤ ꯈꯛꯇꯪꯒꯤ ꯀꯦꯁ ꯄꯥꯏꯕꯗꯧꯅ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯁꯨꯝ ꯌꯦꯡꯉꯛꯄ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯁꯨꯝ ꯈꯪꯉꯛꯄ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯄꯤꯔꯤꯌꯦꯟꯁ ꯇꯧꯔꯛꯄ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯁꯨ ꯋꯥꯔꯤ ꯁꯥꯟꯅꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯂꯩꯌꯦ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ ꯀꯦꯁꯇꯣ ꯐꯖꯅ ꯁꯤꯔꯤꯌꯁꯂꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯊꯧ ꯁꯥꯕꯤꯗꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ
Ichan ngasi warisi akoida share tawbidabagidamata Ichan hannana thagatsari. Sigumba issue si Nordiski masasinda Nordiski satrasinda yamna toina thoi. Aigi wakhalonda hajaragadi majority of these cases are we can call it hate crime.
Yes.
Hate crimes theoretically oina yengmo tamsida makhal khara khaidokba yai. Purely haraubadagi nungaibadagi mi amada phungba chaiba sigumasi yamna physically involvement tawbi akoigi physical involvement se yamna yawi dagi adu natabada akoigi kano tawbai revenge tawba haitare ko aina mi ama nungsi khidre adu aina revenge tawba matangsu yawi adagi akoigi mission kano tawba haitare akoigi ideology ki matangsu mayam yawi adu natraga akoigi ichanda thokibase aina sum khanjabadadi akoigi moigisi akoigi kayani akoigi ngamme matagum tawba haitare ko mission amasu yawi moigisi adi atopa misina akoigi society si mangangadawre haraga ko aduga akoigi matam amda lairamba akoigi social stigma haitare ko akoigi samna haibada akoigi leprosy na ba mi ama akoigi samajna himma tarabadi leprosy sina mi plap sandoni haibagi leprosy na ba misi amtina otpa naiba tawba adugumba adumai akoigi social stigma ama haitare akoigi Northeast sakchum Chinese masasina akoi sammanabagi ra kaino khamde akoigi ta ubu madamna akoigi ngasagi negative oiba singdu haitare yam thuna akoigi sujinba haitare moina akoigi ubu matamsta mas yawi aduga ngasagi police ki thawong adagi akoigi akoigi ngasagi mogi local people singnasu police ki daba law ki daba law laksaragasu akoina ngamgani law na kaidawjaru duno adi police singsu compromise to akoigi kasu khanu numadi afaba mini haraga laithokpasi akoigi kayani akoigi tribalism haigadra natraga koi jati masen khata sum kankana kai hotaba akoigi lebaksida akoigi ain laitaba adugumba akoigi tribalism haitare akoigi jati masen akoi masen na bu oiradi yare akoi masen khatani atopa singdi phattana uba adugumba ki mamisu adum tai sumasi yam toina thokpa thokna akoigi local person singna akoigi local person sing adum support tawsinba haitare ko akoisi sagi mogi legal kano sida sudo legally akoisi action jo lokhattaba haitare adu ichanna ngasi akoi aigi moni ko aigi isada aina su isada thokpa thawdo mi da thokpa thawdo mayam ama thengrabi mutum ichanna ngasi thoibu thawdo sin sida so akoigi sigi chaknadi manaba sing haitare ko manaba laiyo sing sigi kanjabaduni adu yamna nungaitaba thawdo mi ichanna thokibasi sigumba thawdoksi akoina tumda thoktanaba haiba tare ko akoigi side tagi adagi akoina makoida kari haiba yai akoina utpa haitare ko awareness mayam sida utpa haiba tare akoina khakta lawduna su akoina khakta nainaragasu makoigi side tagi kari amta tawroktragadi aduga kaimta haidi sigumba improvement lawe no legal system da haitare improvement lawe aduga sumaina akoigi tribalism oiba akoigi racism oiba atopa jati se akoina yam vulnerable oina uba haitare ko attack tawragasu karimta tawba ngamoi akoigi masen akoi locality masen tota support tawsinaba haitare ansi sigumba thawdosu mayam adu akoigi ichanna ngasi phongdokpirabagidamata ichanba yamna hanna thagatsari adu hojik akoigi ngasai akoigi Professor Bibinas khanajaram haita in continuation from what we have discussed earlier with Professor Bibinas. So Professor, how do you see this incident? I have also given my opinions on what happened, and also the commonality that happened across such type of incidents. So how do you see this incident, and like what is happening in this type of cases?
Okay, I was listening to both of you, and then I would there's a deep sense, whenever we like, especially when the people from the Northeast are communicating or having a conversation around racism, we deeply feel that there is a sense of alienation that we all undergo, and there's a process of othering which is like operating quite strongly within the social system that I was trying to also point out in the beginning of the thing that I was speaking on. Okay, so this 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 has a deep down shaping of the mindset that we have been talking since the beginning. But in specifically in these kind of cases, not just Ichan's case, but also cases of one incident with a girl who was spat pan on, and also another before the corona crisis, corona pandemic. There also have been cases like, some were very famous ones, like, Nido Daniel's cases, which we have also mentioned quite a number of times. So the most important issue which needs to be raised and that needs to be heard by the Indian mass is that the legal system that exists in India, it doesn't have a clear definition of what kind of acts, what kind of behaviors and attacks leads to racism, what kind of attacks are can be termed as act of racism, and it's not clearly defined, and the ranges of those behaviors or attacks or voluntarily hurting someone is not something which is clearly identified even in the Indian law. So it becomes very difficult when these cases are registered, FIRs are done. It's very difficult for people from the Northeast, even though we try to negotiate with the police system, with the executive body, but they don't really register these as a case of racism, but rather as a case of any other crime that happens in the society. But they completely sort of ignore the involvement of race here. There's a different phase which is different from the larger community, and on with which these kind of crimes are happening, and they completely ignore these parts, and it has been happening very frequently. And suppose even notice people are in the crowd, there may be many other people, they would categorically target the different looking people, because the connotation is that these people don't have anybody else, they are weaker minority others, especially to the races. Okay, so the prejudice that they carry, it could be about the prejudice could be about China, the prejudice could be just about people whom they see as not belonging to the society that they understand in the larger context. Okay, so it becomes very difficult to establish the racial basis of these kind of crises, and that is why uh, very often very often the culprit would go scot free, while the victim and the ones who are supporting them are sort of like living in this mourning, and living in grief, like in having a lot of grievance around it. And
Okay.
also most of the cases when they develop this case, they would try to minimize the intensity and the gravity of the crisis by just simply stating that this is a punishable crime, or it's a punishable crime because of the kind of restraint that they're putting on another person, or it's a voluntarily it's about voluntarily hurting the person. But that is always meant, the kind of IPC codes that they would apply is always they are always bailable crimes. Okay, but if I just wanted to pick on the Besbora committee report, which gives a detail of what kind of things needs to be taken up against these racial attacks, and what the precautions should be made to protect the safety, or to make Northeast people safe in the cities. There it is also mentioned that you need to the report clearly says that you need to give a range of um, racial attacks, what kind of racial attacks would lead would be confined, would be sort of defined as a form of racism. Okay, it is not there at all. Okay, so there are a list of things which are listed here in the Bisbra. Let me just, I don't remember all the points, so I'm going to read out few things from here for all of us to understand it, and I think it is very important
Yeah.
here. Okay, so give me a minute. Okay, right. So the major, so the committee is sort of like, the committee suggested that it's necessary to create a fast track court for the cases relating to Northeast people. Okay, and which has not been implemented. It is only been suggested, but till today it's not been implemented. And also we can see that the interventions in education in terms of integrating each and every aspects of Northeast into the consciousness of the people outside the region is, again, it remains on paper. These all proposals, the suggestions, it remains on paper, but it's never sort of implemented in the Indian law. Okay. um, so it becomes so there's this the kind of harmony which people are looking forward to, just for the, I mean, it's very clear to our own experience that we don't feel, especially people from the Northeast, don't feel accepted as Indians, like say proper Indians. Okay, maybe they said they're like, Indians of some sort, but there are also, the most hurting part is there is not even recognition. About different Indian is a different thing, but there is not even recognition of existence of the people like Northeast who has different culture, and who also needs to be treated equally under the eyes of law. That is something which is completely missing, and that is the whole setting. Based on this setting, mindset of the majority Indians are shaped. Yeah, that's what I say now.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Professor. Yeah. Before we go further into the legality aspect
Mm,
of this such type of issue, such type of ethics, we will also discuss about the identity politics,
mm,
how such type of issue is not it is not among the why it takes time to solve such type of issue, and
mm,
why there's a lack of involvement from
mm,
politicians or from the legislators, both at the both from Northeast and also from the mainland India. So before we, yeah, and also we see such type of, like lack of awareness of Northeast people, lack of uh, uh, like um, lack lack of involvement, or whenever there's some kind of issue related with Northeast. So before we go into that, we also want to come on the identity politics and how and why such type of gap is there between the rest of the India and the Northeast. Yeah. So yeah, we'll just take a very quick break and we'll come back again.